Least. Okay, I'm not least. Right. Cup of coffee.
Oh, I hope it works. Let's turn the volume up. And it's establishing a connection. Right. We'll soon see if it works. We'll get rid of that. How do you get rid of that? Here we go.
It's live.
Ah, it's working.
It said live.
Well, I think it's working.
Not quite sure.
We'll soon find out if it's working. Someone will tell us. Is the microphone working? Yeah.
Just a smidge.
There you
Too
go.
much.
Up a bit.
There. Artistic direction.
Oh, you're on. G'day, Jack. Thanks, mate. And old Salty, Gillian, Gary.
Hi.
Mike's working, so it's all good.
Excellent. Straight up. Woo.
I think it's the first time ever we've got it working straight up.
Yeah, we've got a different system there, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all working. Heaps of people there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So it's all loud and clear. It's
I can't
a
read
boat
that.
life. Hi, g'day. Right.
No, I can read that.
It is freezing here, as you can see. I've got my hat on.
Right.
Look at this.
Scarf.
Not bad. Hat. that
Cold.
Mum made me.
What is it? 14 degrees?
14 degrees
Yeah.
Celsius. It's cold.
That's really cold.
Yeah. Oh, someone from the UK's there. Stephen.
I just okay. No.
And the sun's just come up over the hills at the back of the property here. We're not on the boat, as you can see. We are at the farm in our little weekender. From Puerto Rico. Wow, people from everywhere. That's in New Zealand. That's always blows me away. Really is incredible the amount of people out there that join us and say g'day. So the main reason for the live chat was to say g'day, number one, and number two was to explain. We've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of questions since the explosion as to what caused it. Why did it happen, etc., etc., etc. And I've answered everyone that's asked. I've answered in the comments type of way, but we're still getting questions. And not only that, not only is it good to know how it happened, but hopefully we can stop it happening to someone else.
Yeah. We
were lucky. The same thing happened to someone else we know, and he wasn't as lucky. He had third-degree burns over 90% of his body, or 60% of his body, and
8 months in the burns unit.
8 months in the burns unit, intensive care. And it was exactly the same as what happened to our boat.
Yeah.
No, not a propane leak.
No.
At all.
No.
So from Illinois, Birmingham, wow. People from everywhere. Detroit, Michigan. We've been to Detroit. Yeah. Czech Republic. Wow, it blows me away. It's incredible. Connecticut.
Hi, Dale.
Yeah. So.
And Dawn.
Yeah, everyone's there. Yeah, all the. It's just so nice when Wendy makes one of these videos.
Yeah.
And then we get the comments, and it's like regulars. It's like Dick, who's a real good friend, who's been on the old boat. Old Salty's there, and Gillian, all the regulars. A life full of meaning. Hey,
hi guys.
Hello from Nutshell. Wow.
So
it's so nice when the videos come out. For the next few days, you get all these comments and people asking questions and really sincerely wanting to know how we are and what we're up to, and you get a bit of a rapport with people, and you sort of get to know. You think you know them, and I mean there are people we do know, like Dick and Lisa and Glenn and other people watching here, but there's people that I think I know because. We've been talking for a couple of years. Anyway.
Yeah.
Getting on with, don't want to bore you with my chat. So I just love reading where everyone's from. Freezing Blue Mountains. I bet you it's cold there. It's cold here, but.
Someone said here, too bad didn't have a propane leak detector near the stove, will we?
Well, we do.
Right.
So
You better put that one to bed.
I'll put this one to bed now. So bear with me while I explain it.
Yeah.
Might not answer any of the chat while we're just explaining it. So this is the story. I feel I'm telling a bedtime story to the kids.
Oh.
This is the story. Went to the boat early in the morning with one major job was to we had an oil leak on the engine, and the bilge was a bit oily from oil changes, and the way the engine is, when you do an oil change, you can't help but leak oil. So then it takes another couple of hours to tidy everything. So I thought, I'll do a once and for all. I'll find the oil leak, I'll degrease the engine. So I had it all planned. I took 20 litres of fresh water down in a jerry can, and I took a 30-litre jerry can down. So what I did is disconnected the bilge pump outlet, put that into the 30-litre jerry can, so I would catch anything that was being, any of the oil and sludge and gunge and crap that was in the bilge and all over the engine, and the life. Just standard stuff you buy at Halfords, at Auto Cheap, at what's the American version? Well, just a car shop, just a standard cheap $1 a can degreaser, which works really, really well. And so I took them down to the boat, took all the, it was a stinking hot morning in the middle of the wet season. No, it wasn't, just for Christmas, so it was still hot. And set everything up, disconnected the hose off the bilge, connected that into the 30-litre, removed all the engine covers, and went about spraying a whole can of degreaser without reading the label all over the engine. I've never read the label on degreaser in my life. So anyway, sprayed it all over the engine, got a brush and cleaned all the oil off and grease, and let that sit there for about 10 minutes. Had a little bit more left to do, so I used about another quarter of a can, so 1.25 cans. And then I got 20 litres of the fresh water and poured it all over the engine in the bilge, and bilge pump came on, collected all that rubbish. Then I got some absorbent, those absorbent squares, like some nappy stuff, diaper stuff, and collected all the rest of the oil and stuff and put it all in the bin. I reconnected the bilge hose, took the 30 litres of muck and put it on the back deck, ready to take ashore. And I'd done all that and feeling pretty proud of myself. The engine was looking pretty schmick. And then I thought, it's a bit stinky in here, right? From the degreaser.
It smelled.
Oh yeah, so it smells. So I thought, I'll open the hatches. So I opened all the hatches, opened everything up to get a bit of circulation, and then went to do some work on the foredeck because I was resplicing the mooring lines. After about half an hour, I thought, a cup of tea would be nice. So I went downstairs, put the kettle on, and thought that'll take 10 minutes. And we've got a really, really loud whistle on the kettle on purpose, so I can always hear it. And I thought I'll hear that from where I'm working because I had the forward hatch open. Anyway, working away, and after about 5 or 6 minutes, the propane alarm starts going beep, 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 beep. So I thought, that's strange. Maybe because I had the hatch open, that's blown the flame out on the stove. And I had looked through the hatch, and the flame was still going under the stove. And I thought, that's really weird. Why is the propane alarm going? Because the flame was underneath the kettle. So then I thought, I'll go and check it out. So I walked down to the it's a long-winded story. Walked down to the cockpit. You get the whole story. Walked down to the cockpit and just about to step into the companionway, and kaboom. Yeah. Up it went. Everything just went black because of the shock, and things were flying everywhere. So now it gets a bit hazy for a little while, but I went down. Because it was fire. I went down, and all the fires put themselves out. I don't know how, but everything did. I had the fire extinguisher running. I was trying to fight through all the boards and stairs. I couldn't even get down because the stairs had blown 8 feet the other way. So I had to climb down and then make sure there was no fire. But there was smoke everywhere. And then I thought, oh, no, I better go up and turn the gas off. So I went up, turned the gas off, right? Because it's propane explosion is what first thing I thought was propane explosion. Anyway, long story short, we cleaned up as much as we could. Lots of neighbours from other boats came over. It was 7 a.m. They just came over in pajamas and bikinis and whatever they were wearing at the time to help. Some really lovely neighbours came over and gave me a thermos of tea and some food. And I was still in shock until an hour later. And anyway, so I thought, wow, propane, it's deadly. So anyway, week passes and I go back to the boat and because I couldn't face it. I went down there the next day to make sure no water was getting in. So anyway, I then went to check the propane system, find the leak. Lots of soapy water. I checked for half a day. All right. I checked for half a day and couldn't find a leak. You're getting teary, Wen. Oh, Wen's getting a bit teary. Anyway, couldn't find the leak. Did a pressure test. Did every single test. No leaks in the propane. Tested the propane alarm over and over and over. Tested the solenoid switch. Every single part of the whole propane system worked like a dream. And then I realised it was the degreaser fumes that had caused it. So there you go. It was degreaser. So that was about an 8-minute story. Sorry to bore you all. So it was the degreaser that I had used to degrease the engine that caused.
Sorry, sweetie.
That caused the explosion. So there you go. There's the full story, the full answer. Yeah. Gillian said, "Thank God you opened the hatches." It probably did save me because if those hatches weren't open, if they were locked like they always are, the top of the boat would have blown off, or the companionway would have just exploded because
the top hatch blew.
Hatch lifted up. It weighs about 100 kilos, a big solid teak hatch, and that lifted up and moved over about 4 feet and landed again. There's a lot of force down there, but that is what happened. So don't use degreaser, and that's exactly what happened to this other guy. He was degreasing his gen set down in the lazarette on his, I think it was a cat. And he finished degreasing, finished cleaning up, got all the oil and stuff in rags and things, and knocked one of his spanners. His spanner went down and went clink on a bit of metal, created a spark. Because he was such a confined area in the lazarette, up he went. Still alive, but very, very burnt and very, very lucky. So don't degrease your boat with non-marine degreaser.
Or spray.
Yeah, which is non-marine.
Oh, yeah. Don't use spray.
Yeah. So there you go. All that from 1 1/4 cans. Yeah, exactly. It was, I couldn't believe it. But when you read the ingredients of degreaser and the propellant and everything else they use, it's butane, propane, petroleum. It's all the nasty stuff, highly explosive things. So my tip to you, just don't do it. Yeah.
No.
So there we go. That's
so it wasn't.
It wasn't propane. And all those people giving me advice on propane, thank you.
Yeah.
There was a few tips there I hadn't thought about, like using a propane alarm system that actually trips your solenoid, which I'm going to install because I love that idea.
Yes,
so if you do get a leak and the alarm goes off, it switches your whole system off. We're also, if we can afford it, we're going to put in a gimbal stove that has automatic switch off if the alarm goes out.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of good advice came from the explosion.
But we've also put some extra fire things in.
We put a lot of extra fire because it's maybe paranoid.
Yeah.
About fire. So we've doubled our fire extinguishers. We've got more.
Things.
We've got different types of fire extinguishers. We've got the fireballs.
Yeah, they're in.
We're putting in another hatch over the V-berth as an escape hatch in case there's a fire in the middle of the boat. And we're asleep at the front. You can't get out of a Hans Christian. So we're putting a hatch up over the V-berth. So there you go. We've a real lot of lessons there, and it's made me reevaluate how vulnerable you are as a person as well. It can all change so quickly.
Because you had burns down your leg.
Yeah,
just from that
minor. Yeah, they were
tiny bit of flame that came up the companionway.
But degreaser. So now, right then, the next question was, is your boat insured? Yeah, 100% insured for more than it's worth. For more than we bought it for. 100% insured with what we thought was a reputable company. They've always been good in the past. We'd paid our dues for the last 2.5 years. So I contacted them. They said, no problems at all. Fill in a claim form and we'll get the ball rolling. So anyway, filled the claim form in, and it was Christmas time, so we couldn't get an assessor to come down. Anyway, long story short, filled the form in, sent it off to them. They said, thank you very much. So they needed a clarity on a few things. Now, I could have easily said it was propane, and a propane leak caused the explosion, and insurance company would have paid out. No problems at all. But I was honest. I said I used a degreaser, degrease the engine, which I think caused the explosion. That way I could sleep sleep a bit better at night, knowing that I hadn't lied to an insurance company. And they declined our claim after they asked us what sort of degreaser it was. They said I'd used the wrong sort of degreaser. I hadn't read the label, which they showed me, and I was at fault, 100%.
That was it. And
claim declined. So I thought, well, you're at 100% fault if you hit a reef, and they cover that. So I thought, I'll continue on with this. So I made a few inquiries and thought I'll have a go at. A mate of mine's a insurance assessor. Ran it past him, and he said, yeah, they can't turn you down on that. It was an accident. Anyway, we get an email the next day or week, and insurance company has liquidated. So that's the end of that.
It could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
Because
we could have started the whole procedure.
Yeah, and with their insurance company, you had to pay all your bills and then get the money back.
Pay everything up front.
So we could have paid for all of it and then got none of it back.
So now the situation at the moment is that the insurance company have gone into liquidation, so we won't get anything there. The repair bill was about $60,000. Now I'm going to do a lot of it myself, so it's going to only be about $30,000 or $40,000. It's $30,000 or $40,000 that we don't have, or we do have, but it's not to be spent on the boat. So I've gone back to work. We've also got this weird system in the world where you can't go anywhere, and we've decided to delay our cruising. Not to really cruise.
No,
we can go between borders, but it's not the right thing to do. No. You can do your 2-week quarantine, etc., etc. So we decided to delay everything by 12 months. That way, number one, we can fill the kitty and pay for the repairs. Number two, we can do the repairs. We've got time. And number three, we're complying and doing the right thing by the government, etc., and this corona issue thing that's happening. So we're going to stay put for a year. It's been a couple of months now, so another 10 months.
May, June next year.
Yeah, April, May, June next year we'll be off to the Kimberley. So there we go. That's what's happening. I work 7/7, so I work 7 days away out west in the desert. Well, not the desert, out in the bush, and then 7 days. So I get 7 days out of every 2 weeks to work on the boat. So there we go. So now I can read some of the comments. So I won't go scrolling backwards and forwards. I'll just answer any questions that anyone has.
Someone mentioned about the blue something behind.
Oh, one of Wendy's paintings.
It's actually fish, but you're not seeing it all.
We thought it's massive. It's like 2 metre by 3 metre painting.
So we thought we'd put that up there.
So we thought we'd get the backdrop feeling of being out in the ocean. So it's one of Wendy's beautiful paintings. Still for sale, I think.
Not that one.
No, that one's not for sale. That's one that's
keeper.
going. When we build a house on this property, we're going to put it in there. Dodgy insurance company. Yeah, when I looked back at it and did a bit of research back on the insurance company themselves, they were very dodgy.
But there was a reason we went with them.
Because they were the only ones we could get in Panama.
Without
So
a
yeah,
survey.
they were a dodgy insurance company. Any good beers where you are now? There's a brewery, but the pubs are closed. So since the pub's closed, we haven't really had a beer. I have got some brews that are amazing. I've been brewing.
Yeah.
I did my first all grain brew, doing everything without any. It was all manual, if you like, and I must have slipped with I must have accidentally put in too much Simcoe hops because it is very lemony and hoppy beer.
Yeah.
Beautiful colour, beautiful. Everything's beautiful apart from I made a mistake when I put the Simcoe hops in, either too long or too much. So anyway, all my other brews are going really well. Everything's going well on the beer front. What type of work are you doing out in the bush? Victoria asked. My trade from when I was young, an apprentice, is a radio communications technician. So I've gone back to that after many, many years. First time in 15 years.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a system called autonomous haulage. It's a coal mine, and the big coal trucks that take the coal and overburden from the pit to wherever they have to go backwards and forwards. There's hundreds of them, and they're autonomizing. Is that your word? Automating.
Good enough.
Automating the whole system. So I'm working on the autonomous system.
I need to make that.
It's a 12-month contract out west. So that's what I'm doing out there. Hey from Norge. Wow, that's Swedish version of Norwegian. Someone from Norway said g'day.
Stephen said.
No, the water maker didn't survive. Everything exploded. Like, we've been having all sorts of problems.
You keep finding things.
All these problems with everything's exploded.
And melted.
And melted. So the water maker, no, it didn't make it. It's going to get I'm going to rebuild everything. But anyway, that's too sad to talk about. Just doing it in
bits.
Yeah.
Stephen said, it's gone. Where do I see your art and do you take commissions? Yes, I do.
Wendy does only commissions pretty well.
I do commissions, and you can see my art on a website called bluethumb.com, but don't buy from there. Buy from me. But they're all up there.
Just put Wendy Erickson into Google. Lucas said, drunk in charge of a boat. Careful. Yeah, I wasn't. But anyway. Hey, you ever visit Norfolk Island? Well, Hugo, we were on our way there. And we were heading there, and we had headwinds, like 30, 40 knots of headwinds. And we don't like going somewhere where Mother Nature's telling us don't go. So we just turned around and went to New Caledonia. But we will get there one day. A solar cooker, a soldy.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Friends of ours on a boat who've got a Hans Christian, actually. They bought a Hans Christian. It's over in Spain. Our friends, they're up in Geraldton in WA, have got one. And we've been conversing over Messenger or one of the social media things. And they look amazing. So we might just get one up in the Kimberley.
I think we should get
one.
Who
knows? Between the staffs and Shoppy Canal, lovely. Oh, yeah, thanks. Have an hour for me. I really appreciate that. We so miss those English beers. But anyway, thanks, Sally. Great to see you as well. Must be under 20. Yeah, it's under 20. It's
about 14.
It's about 14 here. So Mum made me this for Alaska.
You like the hat?
And made me the not bad hat for Alaska. So I dug into the Alaska, stash yesterday because it's been very, very cold here. So.
Dale asked, what other boats did we consider? We didn't.
Nothing.
No, this was what we...
The requirements for a boat were pre-1980, back when they were strong and they didn't have a core. Had to be full keel, had to have a bowsprit, had to be a ketch, had to be a double ender, and had to be a Hans Christian 43.
So not very specific.
So I've wanted that boat for 25 years. So that's the only boat. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it, but the kookaburras here are everywhere. So that's the only boat I'd ever considered owning. I'd looked at a lot of boats because I'd never thought I'd be in a position to be able to afford one. We looked at a lot of Steelies, a lot of multi-chines, a lot of even Faro boats. Nothing wrong with Faro boats, all the Faro boat owners, but I'm prone to hitting a lot of the bottom, so I didn't want to take the chances with Faro. And I wanted a boat that we could take up. Kimberley's been my dream since I was in primary school. When I first heard about Joseph Bonaparte, the Bonaparte Gulf, and Buccaneer Archipelago and all that stuff, because we got one island where I grew up called Rottnest Island. I got 3 islands, but one real main island. And when my teacher told me that there were 10,000 islands you could go to, I had this dream, and I sound like Martin Luther King. Dream, Martin Luther. Yeah. Anyway, so I wanted a boat that was strong, and because there's a lot of reef, a lot of uncharted territory, and the Hans Christian is strong. We hit the bottom all the time, and it's really strong. So that's what we wanted in a boat.
Someone asked, after the Kimberley, are we circumnavigating or what's next? We've got a few what's next.
We talk about this.
We've got so many things.
We talk about this. If we sit down to a nice curry or something and a glass of wine, we'll sit there for the next 2 hours talking about post-Kimberley.
Yeah. We've got
so many ideas and such small amount of time.
I know.
But anyway, there will be. We've talked about finishing a circumnavigation and how
in Australia.
Well, no, I don't want to do the south. I don't want
so
to.
We're not going to go around Australia then.
No, but circumnavigation of the world.
Oh,
yeah. We talked about it the other day, and then we looked into the Suez Canal going up through the Suez in one of these convoys. We talked about going around Cape Good Hope and past Cape Horn. We talked about doing the Panama Canal. We talked about doing the Northwest Passage and the Inside Passage. We talked about going to Europe. We talked about all sorts of stuff. We talked about changing boats. We don't know. All we know is the Kimberley is next.
And then there'll be lots after that.
Come back to America. We'd love to, and we will.
We talked about that too.
We are going to do the Inside Passage. We're not sure about the Northwest Passage, but we are going to do we want to do the loop. We want to do the ICW, but something always gets in the way of doing these things, which is the dreaded thing that every cruiser hates, is finances. So we're going to do as much as we can with what we've got.
We'll just do it on a budget.
So we do want to get back to we want to finish our canal. Definitely. We want to finish the top loop. Most of the nice pubs are. You do the Inside Passage, you'll be in my neck of the woods. Oh, how salty! Yes, you are that way. Up that end of the world. Convoys required for an East African approach to Suez. Yeah. Well, I've looked right into it. Great Lakes. I'd love to do the Great Lakes, and I wish Wendy and I got this bug when we were in our early 20s, and then we would have had a chance to do a lot more of this. But you got to do what you can do. Yeah.
Thank you, Amber. Amber said, "Yeah, the birds they're amazing. They wake us up every morning.
Every morning we get bookers, yeah."
And you said I'm a great artist. Thank you very much.
She's a very good artist. With over 3,500 sales, she must be a good artist. Earth is flat.
Someone else. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't get your name. That you said what are we going to do to the boat that we wouldn't have done had it not exploded? Is there anything we're going to do now that we wouldn't have done?
Change the engine. I've got a new engine out there.
Oh, yeah.
In the back of the workshop here. Not new. It's a Volvo Penta D255 made by Perkins in England. Yes. So it's a combination of Swedish and English. And it's only done about 300 hours. It's out of a catamaran, so it's got a sail drive. So we're just doing the sail drive up to flog that to get a other gearbox, and then we're going to drop it in nutshell. So Izzy, the Isuzu, is coming out, and the Volvo is going in. So that's one change we're doing that we weren't going to do, because I don't know if it's explosion, but a lot of things are going wrong. Yeah. Every bit of everything's going wrong with the boat.
Maybe the pressure and all that sort of stuff.
I don't know. It really out of a line. I don't know. But anyway, So yeah, we're changing the engine out. Nova Scotia. Oh, I dream about going to Nova Scotia. There's so many things. Hey from Denmark, loving your films. Thanks, Katrine. That's someone from Denmark. There's people from all over the world.
Yeah,
Hong
no.
Kong. Oh no,
Yeah.
journey from Oman to Hong Kong. Sinbad the Sailor's Journey. Yeah. I thought about space travel. Nah. There's not enough wind up there.
Funny you should mention it.
Yeah, funny you should mention that because, yeah. 300 hours, hardly run in. Yeah, I know. What changed your Alaska plans? Well, how'd that happen?
Thank you, Lorraine.
Thanks, Lorraine.
Wow.
That happened once
Boom,
before.
just like that.
Wow. Thank you very
What
much.
changed your Alaska plans?
Um,
It was too cold at the time in our boat.
we'd spent a winter in Mexico, in
Yeah.
the Sea of Cortez, and it got cold. And it was the first cold we've ever had in the boat, because Panama's never cold. Costa Rica wasn't cold.
No.
Central America wasn't cold. The summer in Mexico wasn't cold. But this winter, it got cold.
We
And
had to put jackets on and
it
scarves
was cold.
on.
And we got a new blanket, a new
Yes.
doona for the boat. And we had to fly to America to get a new doona. And it was cold. And then we met this lovely young couple in La Paz, who they'd sailed the Inside Passage in their yacht, sailboat, and they had all sorts of issues with condensation, and they seemed pretty miserable towards the end. And we met them in La Paz, and we talked about it, and they said, yeah, it was, unless you've got the right boat, you've got to have a boat that's got insulation and heating. Nutshell has no insulation and no heating. To insulate a boat is a lot of work. Put a heater in, you can do quite easily. So the cold, that's what
It was
changed.
the wrong boat.
We're still
for
going to Alaska. Yeah, we're still going, but we're not going in this boat. That's still happening. So there you go, Lorraine. We are going to Alaska. Newfoundland, yeah, got to check that out too.
Perkins do canal boat engines.
We
Yes,
had
this
one
is
in.
what's so funny.
We had one in Nutshell. In Nutshell
Was that
1.
Perkins?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure?
Oh, Glenn will have to tell me.
Yeah. Then
I'm
we need you to
sure
tell
I
us.
can't remember now.
Because it was a. Yeah. Okay.
No, it was at Perkins.
Okay. What are your thoughts
Yeah.
on steel boats?
Yeah. Steel boats are
We
great.
had a steel boat, didn't we?
No, we had an aluminium boat.
Okay.
Steel boats are great. As long as the maintenance is kept up, painting and etc., they're fantastic. I considered building a steel boat when I first heard about that I could sail up to the Kimberley when I was a young kid, and I got plans for steel boats. And all through my teenage years, I dreamt about building a steel boat. So, yeah, steel boats have got their place as long as the maintenance is kept up, like any boat, I suppose. But yeah, steel boats are fantastic. I wouldn't do an aluminum boat again, because we had a lot of issues with ours. But then I spoke to people like friends we met in the Tour Motors. He's had built an aluminium boat 40 years ago, and he's never had any issues. But again, you got to be careful and maintenance. Whereas fiberglass is a little bit more forgiving. So fiberglass is solid. Fiberglass is my favourite of all. West Indies. We've looked at going over to Caribbean, but we haven't looked heavily into it.
Other places.
There are other places first, yeah.
Yeah.
Japan, yeah. Greetings from
Yes.
Japan from Ian. Japan was on the radar for a little while. We were looking at maybe doing a Mexico, Hawaii, Japan, Alaska circumnavigation of the northern Pacific.
Yeah.
And I read a lot about Japan, and it looks incredible. So yeah, who knows?
Steel boats are okay on the canals. Steel boats are a must on the canals.
Steel boats are majority on the canals because you're bashing into stuff the whole time.
Yeah,
they're cheap to build. They're easy to build. Canal boats are square and flat. It's all very easy. Whereas if you're building a round bilge sailing boat in steel, it's a lot more work. So yeah, canal boats used to be timber, of course. Now predominantly all steel, apart from the odd fiberglass one.
Stuart Davies, practical boat owner, ask the experts on engines. Need any help? Give us a shout. Thank you very much.
Oh, cheers. Thank you. And yeah, so the old Sea Dog does have a steel boat, and and yeah, they, as long as you paint, as long as you keep maintenance up, they are perfect. Katrine said, "We'll see you when you come over here to Copenhagen." That's the translation of the. It looks. No, it's not Swedish. It's Danish. The languages are very, very similar with Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish. So I'm no good at either of them but Swedish. Roger's there from Norway. So lots of people from Scandinavia. Yeah.
Someone else asked what are the things that we're doing on the boat that cost 30 grand? What do we need to fix?
Where do you start? Teak is the teak just splintered. So teak's so expensive, incredibly expensive. Labour is the biggest one in Australia. You're talking, labour rates $120 an hour for a tradesman.
Yeah, craftsman.
You can get cheaper labour, but you get cheaper quality. It's just so expensive. Everything you want to do. Australia is, I would say, up there in the top 10 most expensive countries in the world to live in and get things done. It is so expensive. But on the flip side, wages are high. So the standard of living still is equal to a lot of other places, but it's just so expensive for everything. And I hate having to buy something for the boat that I can make or repair. So anyway, yeah, the money, there's so much stuff we've got to replace.
A lot of wiring, a lot of, what are they called? Plumbing stuff.
A lot of water tanks sprung a leak, and it's just a lot of stuff. The whole toilet system's got to go. The whole, so just a new toilet was $1,500. That's just the toilet. Then we've got to take the holding tank out, see if that's ruptured. We've got to replace all the sewer line. That's $30 a meter. So there's another $300-400, just $500 in fittings. So there's $1,500 just in the toilet.
And the galley.
On the galley, there's
we've got to pull it apart.
And it's anyway. So there's a lot. There's
just lots of little things.
Lots of so much. I did a list and we priced everything, and it's just incredible. But anyway, it's one thing I don't like talking about because it's so sad.
But we don't need to do it all at once. We just sort of do it in pieces.
Someone said, trouble with fiberglass, it has only half the life of plutonium. Just look around in the harbour and the amount of abandoned ones still afloat. Yeah, fiberglass is an incredible product. It's totally unenvironmentally friendly, full of resins and plastic, but they don't decompose very fast and don't usually litter too much because they get cleaned up. So it's a good product. It's the best of, timber's better, of course, but timber's very difficult to maintain these days. The D255 is based on the Perkins 400 series, and watch out, it has ours doesn't have the MDI box. Ours doesn't have the CAN bus or anything. It's been converted to manual everything. It has manual gauges. I've read about the MDI box, and we were lucky we found one without the MDI box on it. So there you go. Thanks for the update on that, Stuart. We think alike, mate.
Oh, Stuart's asking if you can email something about the engine to us.
Can an email address to me? Yeah.
What is it? Info.
Yeah. Info. Oh, wow. C'est moi.
C'est moi?
C'est moi.
C'est moi? That's my best friend.
What does that mean?
It is me.
Oh, it is me. That's a good. G'day, it is me. I still think you get a catamaran, mate. That's another story. I'd love a catamaran. I would absolutely love them.
For coastal cruising.
They're the worst boat in the world for going across, doing a big passage in rough seas, but that's 0.1% of sailing time. 99% is drinking sundowners on the back deck and being in shallow water. Catamarans, I would love one.
They're also very expensive.
They've got an extra zero at the end of the price tag, and that extra zero is the killer. So we've looked into building a Wharram.
There's so much to
A
do.
Wharram 46, Tiki 46.
Yeah.
I've got the study guide. I've got the study plans. So I've got an area here, and where we're sitting is like an aircraft hangar.
Yeah.
It's a very, very big shed, which is big enough to build maybe 3 Wharram 46s in. So it's more than big enough. So who knows? We might build a catamaran.
That's another story.
That's another story.
Whole
Yeah, but anyway,
big
so
story.
how do you say it in French?
C'est moi.
C'est moi. We, in my best French, we might just do that. Unless, of course, once we sell Nutshell, we happen to find we do all right out of it and find a half cheap, half abandoned catamaran that we can do up.
Who knows?
Because I do love catamarans. I've been a cat fan for years. What about the klongs in Thailand? I don't know what a klong is. Sorry, Lucas.
I recall my Hobie cat days in Oman back in. We had a Hobie cat.
I've had lots of Hobies. I've raced them. We sailed them out in the ocean. Me and my mate Eric. We used to do big journeys out into the Indian Ocean, and I love Hobie cats. I've been a cat fan forever, but I just can't afford one.
No, Old Salty, we haven't sold Nutshell.
No. When Nutshell's coming to
Kimberley
with us, then we'll reevaluate. We'll most probably sell her, go down to Perth and sell her. So if anyone in 2 years' time down around the west coast of Australia is looking for a really schmick catch, we'll have one for sale. Canals, of course. Yeah,
What's that?
In Thailand, the canals. We saw them there once. We've only been to Thailand twice, and we did see them
in
once.
Chiang Mai.
On the way to Chiang Mai.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of hurricane damaged cats around, and I would love the project of repairing one. But again, we've got too much to do until in the next 2 years. So after that, who knows what's going to happen cat-wise. I love cats. They sail really badly. A cruising cat, it sails upwind badly. It sails downwind badly. Hobby horses, yours, they get seasick on them. They're horrible for sailing. Cruising cats, I'm talking. I'm not talking about a nice fast crowther or anything like that. Cruising cats they sail horrible. But like I said, sailing is only the tiniest part of the cruising life. I love the fact. I hate it when you are anchored half a mile away from the beach because it's shallow and you see cats up on the beach.
You want to go up on a beach?
I want to be able to high tide.
Wharram can go on a beach.
Wharram, just pop it up on the sand, let the tide go out. Big platform at the back just goes down. Well, it's not. It's
all on ropes.
Yeah, Wharrams are very basic boats, and just and the deck space and we do love our.
Do we plan to make videos of the repairs on Nutshell? Yes.
Not comprehensively. No, I don't. Essentially, the videos are our travel log, and I would hate to be reminded of what happened on that boat. So we will do little bits. Like at the moment on my workbench out here in the woodworking area, I've got the helmsman's seat that I'm rebuilding because that exploded into like a million pieces. So I'll do a little bit of video of repairing that. But no, I don't want to do a whole series on the repairs. I know a lot of you want to see it and have been asked for it, but I don't like being reminded of it. Anyway, it's just regluing bits of splinter wood together.
Pablo, thank you.
Oh, cheers, Pablo.
Thanks, I'm going to get emotional now.
Wendy gets emotional a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a very emotional person.
Gone with the wind.
Yeah, they have a cat.
Yeah.
We met them.
Yeah, we met them in Panama.
In Panama, yeah, just after they'd gone through.
We went and had sundowners.
Sundowners on
a very stormy night with little Peanut.
Cheers,
we nearly
Pablo.
didn't make it back
Thanks,
to our
mate.
boat, actually.
If Wharram had CNC files, it would be a lot easier.
CNC file.
CNC is a computer something cutting in. It's where
you can just
I think that's what Paul's saying. You just put it into your CNC machine
and it just spits out
and
the
it
boat.
just spits out the boat and you stick it together. Yeah, but we might have a boat building
Go on.
community party thing where anyway there'll be more coming in that later on. It'll be a community project. I'm trying to put something together where we can build a boat and then for the next few years people can come and sail it with us. So as a community boat building thing. So I don't know how it's all going to work, but that's what I'm working on. Yeah, Portugal. I've always wanted to go to Portugal. Wendy's been there, but I've never been there. So yeah, Wendy needs a 3D printer to print a boat. Yeah.
Put it in boat.
Yeah.
I love that.
Numerical control. CAD files
yeah.
is what you want. Yeah, well, CAD files for Wharram would be, yeah, it would be. I mean, you could do it too. You could a lot of time, but you could do it, and you could easily do it because it's all plywood, and timber frames. It's mainly plywood. The whole thing's plywood with epoxy, West System epoxy, and a fiberglass skin. The hulls are lashed together to 5 cross beams. If you want to put a pod in the middle, the pod everything's lashed together. Even the rudders are lashed onto the stern post, the stem. Anyway, everything's lashed. Here, hatches are lashed to get on. Everything's flexible. It's the whole theory behind it is that nothing's rigid, nothing's going to break because it will all flex as Mother Nature knocks you around. So yeah, that's a bit about those who have never heard of a Wharram. It's James Wharram is an English guy, cult following. Yeah, they're incredible boats. I watched them. I've seen them. We met a couple actually in Bora
Bora, yeah,
who had built one in Sweden, I think it was.
Put it in there.
Put it in a container. Put it in the shipping container. Sent it over to Bora. Attached all the pieces together, and they sailed past us in this deep water. It weighed 3.5 tons, and they sailed. This thing's beautiful. Lucky fish, sailing lucky fish. Yeah, Steve. I follow them. I don't follow many channels, but Sailing Lucky Fish I do because that's the exact same boat I would like to build. Yeah. How long would it take to build? 2 years? No, it would take one. Depends on the amount of people. Boat building. My father's a boat builder, and he used to build a boat in a week. Yeah, 1 boat a week.
What? Fitted out and everything.
Fitted out, ready to go. And he was a production line, and this is 26-foot boat, and it's like the trailer sailor we've got outside here. And then the bigger boats, the 30-footers, would take him about 2 months. But people have built a Tiki 46 in a year with 4 people. So if we can get 6 people, I reckon we can knock one out in one long summer. One long winter here, because you wouldn't build a boat in summer. It's too hot and it's too wet. So winter here is when you'd build a boat because it's warm and it doesn't rain.
Relatively.
So yeah, I reckon you could do one in a long winter. Looking into building yourself a nice solar cooker. Yeah, old salty. We're looking into it. Yeah, yeah.
Someone asked how fast does New Peanut go? Well,
New Peanut is incredible. With me in it, I do 17 knots. With me, Wendy and I in it, we do about 12 knots. With Wendy, I, and a fishing gear and a bit of stuff in it, we do about 6 knots.
Yeah.
So it pops off the plane really quickly. We've only got a 10 horsepower engine on it. We need to get a 20.
Yeah.
So currently it's on my list. I'm looking at trying to find a good secondhand 20 horsepower Honda around. Because I've got all the spares for Honda now. I've gone and bought spare impellers, oil filters, all the spare props and everything. So I want to keep Honda 20 uses all the same stuff. So we're looking at finding a Honda 24-stroke for the New Peanut. But with the captain collar, it's like owning a 8-meter dinghy. It's so stable. It's incredible. So we're very happy with that. And that's another thing we're getting ready for the Kimberley.
And it's 14 degrees here.
It's Kay Keith just said, sounds like a Kontiki. The Wharram is a bit of a Kontiki, all lashed together, but it's not made of balsa, and it is steerable. We actually went to, when we were in the tour motors, we went to the landing place of the Kontiki. For those of you who don't know what the Kontiki is, a bunch of really crazy, fantastic Norwegians went to, I think it was Lima in Peru. I can't remember. It was on the west coast of South America somewhere. I've seen the movie, but I can't remember. I think it was Lima, or it might have been Valparaiso. Anyway, they set off and built a balsa raft. It was about proving the migration of the Polynesians, whether they came from South America. So I think it was government funded. I think the Norwegian government might have funded it, or someone. Anyway, they built a balsa raft and they drifted across the Pacific, and they ended up on a motu in the tow motors. And we actually went to
in Roroya.
No, it wasn't Roroya.
Makamo.
Might have been Roroya. Yeah, anyway,
I think it
was one of the first atolls we went to.
I think it might have been Roroya. Or Makamo.
Yeah, so
maybe you could do something like Leo at Samson Boat Building, rebuilding Tally Ho, and have people come and work on the boat build with you. Well, that's
we're thinking of, but we're thinking of people coming and staying here in the beautiful Whitsundays.
Yeah,
we've got a big farm. We can put some accommodation up here, and we can do this thing as a project. But anyway, that's down the track a few years yet. So who knows what's going to come of that? But I reckon it'd be a fun community project for people to come and build a boat
and have a holiday.
Have a holiday here, number one, and then have a sailing holiday, number two.
Yeah.
As part of their input for the boat. So we'll look at it. Yeah. Gary, how are you, mate? Yeah. Thor, that was the guy. That was the fella. Yeah. And Kay said Thor as well. He was the guy who put together the Kontiki, or the whole project. I think there were 5 of them on board. They all survived. Yeah.
Thank you, Will.
Oh, well, cheers, mate.
Thank you very much.
You're all amazing. Everyone out there is so amazing. You're all amazing. And like our patrons, I thought during this worldwide problem, the funds were going to get a bit tight. And we thought, patrons, keep your money. Don't help us along. Keep it, because things are getting tight. But the opposite happened. We've got more patrons, and people are so nice.
I know.
And all that patron money goes into the boat.
Yeah.
It's not going into the explosion repairs. It's going into safety items for the boat. Like it paid for the sewing machine, which is, to me, a safety item.
Yes.
It went into paying for a lot of the safety stuff on Nutshell. So that's where it went in the water maker, which is a safety item. I mean, you run out of water, you die. If you don't have sails, you can't sail anywhere, you perish. So thanks, patrons. All the funds that we get from you guys go straight into our safety for the boat. So and these are things, and then there's the people who say, "Here, have a beer," and they buy us beer. And everyone, thank you so much.
Yeah,
it just
thank you.
Makes me emotional.
No. Jason said he'll come and help us build the boat. Yeah.
Good on you. That's right, Jason Hooper.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Jason
Selling hoops.
Yeah, they've got a YouTube channel. They're just kicking off. They just bought a boat. They're down from the sunny coast. We went and had quite a few ales with them in Noosa. Yeah, great guys. Yeah, that's what it's all about. This boat it's all about you guys that want to come and do a project like this. You can come and be part of it. And it's all going to be building a boat out of wood.
Yeah.
That is Polynesian design and the Polynesian design, the English design, but it's all comes from the old Polynesian ways. So, like I keep saying, there'll be more. Thor from Norway, not
David Marks is going to come and help.
Oh, good on you, mate. Well, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a great project. But it's a couple of years off, so
yeah.
If only could have floored the flight there. Cheers, old salty. Yeah, it's just you being there in spirit on your comments every week is more than enough, mate. I love having a chat with you. Yeah. Reading a bit of Swedish here. En svenska. Så han heter Danielsson. Oh, there you go. So it was the Kontiki. I'm just learning a bit about the Kontiki, reading about it here. It'll Dutch can Globetrotter. The whole CV19 thing will, as we get more of a grip on it, it will all slow down and everything will open again. Australia's not going to open its borders for a long, long time.
Maybe with New Zealand, that's it.
With New Zealand, they're going to open, but even we can't go from state to state.
No, we've got closed borders. Well, quarantine on borders.
Yeah, but anyway, let's not talk about that because that's all you hear in the news. And,
Yeah.
and this is a COVID-free zone. There's 200 acres. 200 acres of farm that we live on is a free zone. It doesn't get discussed. Yeah.
What do you think of wind vane? Propeller or cylinder type? All the best. Now, there's a question.
Cylinder type, I like a non-directional. I've looked into putting one on the boat. We used to have one here on the farm until Cyclone Louis blew it away. We've never found
with the shed.
Yeah, took a shed with it. We've never found the shed or the wind vane again. And they're big. So they're up in the forest somewhere around here. We've got from here, just outside this window here, to the coast is about 7 kilometres and of national park all the way. So it's somewhere out there. Yeah. Cylinder type aren't as efficient, but they're less maintenance, quieter, and easier to, if you're going to home build, self build, a lot easier. DW, yep, we're building a Wharram. It's the plan. I like Dow's. Yeah, Dow's another great design. We've been going for nearly an hour.
Wow.
No wonder my cup of tea is getting
said,
cold.
hi from East Coast of Canada. Wendy, are you painting now? Yes. Yeah,
studio's just there.
Yep, I'm painting.
My workshop
every
and
day.
then Wendy's studio. So we sort of back on each other while I'm doing nutshell repairs and working on my motorbikes. Wendy's painting, so yeah.
And I was thinking of doing, I don't know, we shouldn't really advertise, I suppose, but I was thinking of doing paintings of people's boats if they're interested.
Yeah.
So
East Coast of Canada. Yeah. How many acres do you have? 181. Yeah, acres. 120 acres of virgin rainforest and about 60 acres of grassland paddocks, divided into 14 paddocks. It's our little piece of heaven. We're about 20 minutes out of town, and we've got no connections to the outside world, no electricity, no water, no sewage, no telephone, not one connection to the outside world from our little spot here. We're all off grid. We have solar. We have veggie patch out there. We used to have chickens running around. We've got composting toilet system. We've got make our own hot water. We deal with our own sewage. We're mung beans pretty well when we live out here. Everything's outside, shower, everything. So yeah, it's a little slice of heaven. It's like being on a boat, but bigger. Yeah. So
which Wharram? That was a 40.
Which one? There's Tiki. I like the Tiki 46 because we're talking about building this area sitting in here, which is just a big open area. We're talking about building it in, so we've got a bit more creature comfort since we moved out of town. We've been on the boat for 3 years, so we haven't needed anything. And coming back here, it might be time to build it in. And then we've still got enough room down that end to fit in a 50-foot, 2 or 3 50-foot boats. So the Wharram will fit in nicely in the middle here. 46 Wharram will fit in. Not absolutely no room, not good for oldies. And absolutely no room. Not. Anyway, I can't. I'm going to be glasses on. It's gone. How will you brew beer on the big? Right. I've been practicing brewing beer without using any. So once I get the hang of it, I'll do a little video segment of brewing beer without using any power or gas or anything like that. What, not gas, what do they call it in America?
Propane.
Yeah. You have to say it with an American accent.
Propane.
Yeah. Motorbike. So the 43 sticker is for Jack. No, the 43 was my number. How do you know we had a 43
Because
sticker?
it's probably in the back of the shots.
Oh, yeah, 43 sticker was my race number on the first Australian safari I did, which was a 7-day long distance race. Went from Karratha in the north of Western Australia down to Perth. No, not Karratha, Kununurra. So that was my first race number. I've got whole number 22 over there, 21, all my different race numbers hanging up. Oh, sorry.
Send us a beer.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Thank you. Beer supplies for your beer brewing.
My brewing, all my brewing stuff is right here. There's my mini regulator for my mini keg system. So yeah, we happen to be sitting right next to my brew area, which on the boat. Brewing takes up a lot of big stuff. So we're everything we're putting together for the brew on the boat is all going to fit together. So, like for example, that is my whole still. I like to make my own rum. And in Australia, it's sort of legal. It's less than 5 litres for home use, sort of legal. But it's you're allowed to brew. Anyway, so that's my whole brewing outfit for rum. So cheers, old salty. I'll be able to make a lot of beer, extra beer. There's a Wharram 46 in Australia, very nice 2-mast. Yeah, we're going to build a 2-master. I do like the extra control you have with 2 masts and the smaller sail area you have. By having 2 masts. That's why we have a ketch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of interest on the old Wharram.
Yeah.
I didn't think people would know what a Wharram was. But, yeah, there's if you have a look at a sailing channel, a couple of young Aussies from South Australia were up in the Kimberley sailing a Wharram called Sailing Tangaroa, or Tangaroa Sailing. And anyone goes up to the Kimberley, I always watch that part of their video series. I watched what's that other mob, the Australian in their little boat, free range sailing. I watched them when they were up in the Kimberley.
Yeah.
Everyone who goes to the Kimberley, I get more and more tips and info.
Carr said, "Any good boat building lumber on your lot?"
No.
Oh no.
No, there is a bit of hardwood here. There is some nice hardwood, but not enough. See, rainforest timber isn't really the right timber for building a boat, I don't think. So, and building a Wharram is mainly plywood. So, to make plywood is a pretty drawn-out process, and I don't think much of the timber here on the property is straight enough. Plus, in Australia, we can't just go and take timber out of our own land. You're not allowed to. It's a pretty strict country to live in, but it's beautiful. You can't just go and cut a tree down. Yeah, it's illegal.
You can say you're making alcohol for hand sanitizer.
I am. That is for the rum. It's rum-flavoured hand sanitizer for sailors. That's exactly what we're making. Yeah. Good tip. Free range, yeah, that's them. Let's have a look at census. It's been an hour. God, an hour. I've been chatting for an hour. My cup of tea's gone. How's your cup of tea?
Gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Documentary on Pilgrim. No, I haven't seen that documentary. I love watching stuff, so I might make a note of that.
Look that one up.
I'm crazy about the helm of the or Pilgrim. I don't know. Yeah, is that hat not bad? Is that merch? No, this is a one-off. My mother made it for me. So if you do want one, you're gonna have to speak to my mother very nicely.
You've got another one too, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got another one that says Nutshell. So
yeah, they're gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually starting to warm up here now, a little tiny bit. I'm nearly take your scarf off, Tom. So, unless there's any more real questions that people want answered, what else have we got to tell people? I pretty well haven't shut up, have I, for an hour? Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's all
So,
good.
get another cup of Will Wait.
Right, we got any more questions?
Yeah, fire some
Ask
questions
them
at
now
us.
because they might have
We
gone
might
up.
have, yeah, we might
We're
have
not
missed.
scrolling back.
We might have missed a lot of questions. So if you do have any, you guys said put the kettle on. Yeah, I should, mate. I should.
Here we go.
Amber, MJ Sailing is going to build
a Wharram.
Oh, cool!
Really?
I love MJ. I watched them years ago when we first were thinking about sailing.
Pilgrim is a French-built Wharram cat on YouTube.
Okay.
Oh, we'll check that out.
Check that out as well. See, the Wharram thing is still 2
It's
odd years away,
yeah.
so I haven't started getting too excited about it yet because I've got this problem that if I start researching something that I'm interested in, everything else goes out the window.
Yeah.
And we've got to repair a boat so far before that and sail halfway around Australia and do lots of stuff. And we haven't even talked about our canal. A lot of people used to ask, are you coming back to canals? And we said, yes, we are. Yes, we are. And then they said, great. And I said, and we were thinking building a canal boat, but we're not going to build one anymore. We're going to restore one. We're going to restore, how can I say this without giving too much away? We're going to restore a classic, unique English narrowboat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Without giving too much away, that's what's coming up. Is a classic restoration of something that will blow your minds.
With a twist.
With a twist. So there you go. More questions here. Put the kettle on. MJ, Pilgrim, Bon Voyage, Ciao. There's Kiwi
MJ looking at an not a Wharram.
Yeah, that 55 Wharram in Japan. I saw his episode where he was interviewed by Doodles or someone. That's a beautiful Wharram, but 55 is just too big. It's too big. So even the 46 is on the edge of too big. So but that 55, that Kiwi guy, and I think the whole family sailed it. Great channel. Pound that button. Cheers, guys. All right, CDW. Yeah, hi from Sonia. Canada. Yeah, MJ are looking at an Wharram, not a Wharram. Yeah. All right. There you go.
What was that?
Ooh, the computer doesn't beep. I hate it when the computer goes beep. It says you've been watching the screen too long. Must have an alarm that if I watch it for over an hour, it tells me. I never spend an hour on the computer. Narrowboat with a twist. I look forward to it. Yeah, you're going to be. A lot of people would go, every time I tell someone exactly what we're doing, they go, you're mad. It's the first words they say, don't they? Every single person says, you can't do that. You're mad. Or they go, what? That's insane. So there you go. That's what everyone who we tell exactly what we're doing to, that's the reply we get. Cheers, Charles. There's a fiberglass style Wharram, approximately 50 foot, being built in Queensland presently on YouTube. Might be interesting to have a look at too. Cheers, old salty. All right, everyone's leaving. Not many more questions coming. I've been gas bagging for 1 hour and 8 minutes. I've got some nutshell repairs to do over there. And we're going to go down to the boat today, make sure everything's good. It's been raining here non-stop for 7 days.
Yes.
So I want to make sure there's... we've got a couple of leaks on the boat since the explosion, a couple of severe leaks. So I want to make sure everything's still tickety-boo on board. So little things like all the leaks, I've got to take so much stuff, so much deck hardware off now to repair, because when it exploded, everything must have gone boom. So just everything leaks now. Even the fair leads they leak. Yeah, it's too sad to think about all the things that I need to do.
Did you see the Dover Project narrowboat? No, we'll look that one up.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay.
Yeah. Fred has stopped. Generator needs more diesel.
Feed.
Oh, feed has stopped. Yeah, we do have a generator here for when I'm welding and things.
Yeah.
But if it's stopped, then that's no good. We're only running off my phone here, and my phone connection sometimes stops. So if we have stopped streaming, sorry, and good night. See you all next time.
Good night. Good morning.
Good morning, wherever you are. Thank you so much for even just
It's been lovely
being here,
chatting with everybody.
I forgot it. Restoring the Titanic. Not quite. Go
Okay.
mad instead of telling your Swedish story. Fiberglass, Bill Wharram's for Florida. Guy makes the tiki 26. Yeah, a lot of the smaller tikis, a lot of the smaller Wharrams they did do in fiberglass, foam cord and balsa cord, but it sort of defeats the whole principle of the whole Wharram design idea of the flexible and not impact resistant, but just the style. I've been reading a lot about it. No worries, Bevan. Cheers, Rubik Cube, Victoria, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you so much
Thanks.
for being there. We are going to leave now. I'm going to hit the button.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next time. We won't. I was only saying to Wendy, the last time we did a live stream, not from Nutshell, was back in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So that's So we should do these little catch-ups a bit more often because it's nice to have the two-way thing. You don't have to listen to me gas bag. Just hit the hit the button. But
All right.
yeah, I just love the comments. I just love the backwards and forwards. Cheers. Anyway, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye
everybody.
from her.
Thank you for turning up.
Yeah, thanks for being there, guys.
Yeah. See ya.
Cheers.
Bye.
Ciao. End. There we go.